It's an interesting feeling like you have a relationship with this living organism that's giving you every day more bell peppers and more tomatoes and more melons. And we are at my farm in Adelino. I actually grew up in this area. My interest is to move away from things like alfalfa. So I have set up to where I rotate through my land. I do cover crops. I turn green manure into the soil. Use the Johnson Sioux compost, which introduces a lot of microorganisms and fungi into the soil. Give the soil life. Is making a difference in terms of the crop quality that I get, as well as the amount of water usage. I think my water usage is actually going down as I strengthen the soil with microorganisms. I tested organic matter at the beginning of the season. It was 1.5%. And at the end of the season, the organic matter in the soil measured closer to 7%. So having those organisms in the soil make a tremendous difference in revealing the organic matter to support the plant life in a healthy manner. And the consumer's happy. The flesh is thick, it's sweet. I'm excited that a possibility for the future could be shifting from a hay economy to a human food economy of growing produce and fruits that can be consumed locally so that you're not transporting it long distances. You can make good use of these lands with less water that can make a difference for this valley and keep a lively agricultural community here.
Well, I'm Zoe Fink here with my husband Carlos on our little farm in the South Valley on the Atrisco Land Grant, Tewa land. Do a lot of value-added products and sell through a CSA into some local restaurants.
We have a couple goats and then we have chickens, and the chickens have free reign of our orchard area, and we let them and the goats out in the gardens during the winter season to clean up and eat weed seeds and all the other organic matter and turn it into fertilizer. To prep our beds, we usually end up using a mixture of manure from our goat pen and chicken manure and spreading that on our bed. We have pretty sandy soil here. We're only about maybe a quarter mile from the river.
Yeah.
So the water just goes right through it. So trying to build up some of that organic matter to hold moisture is key. We try not to disturb the soil so much because the more we disturb it, the water goes through it even faster. We mostly use a broad fork to turn our beds over and try not to pulverize the soil too much.
On a very large scale, broad forking 20 acres is not really a feasible option. A lot of people talk about how we have to be no-till to have healthy soil, and I think there's definitely truth in that, but it's a balance between feasibility of running a larger scale operation and being able to take care of large acreage.
And the type of soil you have.
Totally.
I think for a lot of these older farmers, these terms like regenerative or sustainable or no-till are foreign to them, but a lot of them are doing them already. Like most of the stuff I learned was from our 90-year-old chili farmer in Socorro.
My name is Lorenzo Candelaria. I'm 14th generation farmer on this farm. We're beginning to understand that the value of crop rotation and cover cropping particularly is an essential part of what we should be doing during a drought. Even though, yes, these crops do consume water, but it's a more efficient way of keeping the water where it's supposed to be. This is an ecosystem. It's not just one farm, it's not just one tree. That this is a system that has to be maintained in order for us to survive.
What we've been working on is taking soil samples from all of his fields and really trying to tie that into his future irrigation plans to make sure that his water delivery is going to coincide with what his soils can and cannot receive. In addition to things like irrigation pipe and land leveling, we're also going to be installing some subsurface soil moisture sensors. we're actually going to start seeing how long it takes for water to infiltrate. Lorenzo has the curse and blessing of heavy clay soils out here, so they do really well at holding onto water and nutrients, but it also takes a really long time for that water to really soak in. If his soils are able to hold on to moisture longer, maybe he's a good candidate for 3-week watering periods, 4-week watering periods. So do they really need to be consistently irrigated? And I think we need to break people out of that scarcity mindset to say, just irrigate what you actually need and not over apply water to the soil surface, because then it's going to cause other issues, whether it's erosion or pest problems, weed problems, diseases. That standing water can be a vector for a lot of other problems that you're going to have to treat down the road.
I think one of the things we have to look at with regard to all of that is the culture. New Mexico has a 500-year-old tradition of using the ditches, and the changes that have come about through the modernization of the infrastructure. I'm very hopeful in how the district is looking at the farmer. It's not just producing food for the body, it's also producing food for the soul.